Good morning, parents. Thank you for joining in for this session on DMIT, which is Dermatoglyphic Multiple Intelligence Test. Okay, before we move forward, I'll just give a brief introduction about myself. Uh, would you like to know who am I and what do I do? I'm Dr. Deepa. By qualification, I am a dentist. But now I am a life coach. This is my second innings. And as a life coach, I help parents achieve harmony with their children. I provide those tools and techniques which help them understand how they can better their parenting journey. I too have two teenagers myself, and I reside in Dubai. That's about me. And before moving ahead, I would like to express my gratitude to all my mentors because of whom I am where I am today in my journey of parenting. Thank you very much. Let's begin. What is DMIT? Okay, what is DMIT? DMIT is Dermatoglyphic Multiple Intelligence Test, and basically it is our fingerprints. You all know that our fingerprints are unique to us. So each fingerprint that we have on our hand, that is the 10 fingers that we have, each of them is unique and each of them represents a part of our brain. So this is very important that we understand that what is our strength and how we can use it to the maximum for our own benefit. Before I move ahead, I'll tell you that this was developed in 1920s by Harold Cummins, who was an American dermatologist. And also this DMIT has been moved forward by another scientist called as Howard Gardner. He was the one who came up with this multiple intelligence test. Also, it has been proven in our history, especially the Hindu history, that these fingerprints held importance. Even this awareness was there even during that time, and how the personality of a person could be identified even during the Ramayana days. So this is the beauty of this fingerprints, which is unique to each individual. Next. Okay, now I'll be explaining you here that this fingerprint analysis, how is it decoded? How do we move ahead? How do we understand it? And what does it actually mean? Now, we have 5 prints on our right hand and 5 on our left hand. Now, each represents a unique thing. We all know that we have a right brain and a left brain. Now, if what is identified here in the left is what we put across on the right side of our brain, and similarly vice versa on the right prints which are present on the left side. We also know that there are different parts of the brain, like the occipital brain part, which is the behind, just above the neck. Then we have the temporal, then we have the parietal and frontal and prefrontal. Now all this have an important significance in identifying the unique strength of an individual. We also know, as you can see from this picture, that the right side represents our creativity, our emotional intelligence, out-of-box thinking. And on the left side, we have more to do with the logic and the numbers. Now, how does it help in parenting is, why we are here, what we need to understand. If by these numbers that we get out of this report, we get around 10 numbers because we have our 10 trends. When we get these 10 numbers, we know that what are our top 4 strengths. Based upon that, and upon the fact when we get to understand the personality of the child, the kind of words that we can use for our communication make a huge level of difference in our parenting. Let's move ahead and I'll let you know more about it as we move ahead in the session. Okay, this is about the learning styles. Now here we have 3 types of learning styles. That is the visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Now, when we understand from the report our child, if the child belongs to the visual category, then we know that how we are supposed to communicate, what kind of stationery and paraphernalia we can provide. This is what you can see in the picture, that if it's a visual learner, what support we can give in form of the stationery. For example, if the child is visual, we can provide them with the sticky notes, the colorful diagrams, the sketch pens, which is making it more beautiful. This way, the child learns much more. For example, if the child is auditory, then when we come to know through the report, I suggest parent that where should the child be placed in the class. Now, if an auditory child is placed, the person sitting next to that child is somebody who's chit-chatting, this child loses out on the listening in the class itself. For example, I'll give you, when any person, including you and me, when we are watching probably a movie, and the visual person, if you ask, that person will be able to tell you all the color of the dress, the footwear, the jewelry, etc. And if you ask the same question to an auditory, the auditory person will tell you more about the tone, pitch, volume of the sound, and what happened in the background, the music. Whereas if it is a kinesthetic learner, they will tell you how many times the movement happened, who went where, all those things. So if we are aware which category of learning our child belongs to, we can help the child in that way. Now here, how does it help in parenting per se? Parenting, there are many a times when we have to communicate to the child. So what kind of words do we use? Make a difference. Now, how sometimes we have to be a little firm with the child. How do we do that? If it is an auditory, then the method of communication will be different. The method of communication for a kinesthetic child will be different. The learning style will be completely different for a kinesthetic learner. Now, if you as a parent have this kind of awareness, you can go and even have a discussion with the teacher, sharing the report that this is what is required, and the teacher, the parent, and the child forming a team can move ahead for the betterment of the child in the learning process. So this is how, if we are aware of the learning styles, this is how it helps us in the long run. Now, you may ask me, what is the right age to get this report done? The right age that we can get this report done is anytime after 3 years. Coming to this slide, this is talking about the personality. Now, if you can see that the personality has been divided into 4 depending upon the birds. Now here, why is this important and how does it help? This is the most significant aspect for your child. If you are able to understand your child, and also if we have 2 children, they might have the same personality, they might have different personalities. Now, you have to parent each child according to the personality that they have. Coming to these, I will just explain you each one individually for your better understanding. Going to the first one, which is eagle. Now, if a child has an eagle personality, they are strong in their leadership, they are strong in their thought process and conviction. Now, when you are parenting such a child, you cannot communicate directly. There is another method which, after the report is done, and if you're sitting down with the parent, I explain that your child belongs to the eagle personality. This is how you're supposed to talk to the parent. This is how to the child, and how you're supposed to take it forward. Now, this is very important, and parenting uh, is divided into 3. the early years, which is 0 to 7 years, then 7 to 12 years, and 12 years onwards, which is the teenage. Now, again, parenting here differs according to the age bracket which your child is in. Here in the eagle personality, they love competitive environment, but they don't like to be imposed things on. You just can't say, go do it. You will, agree with me that they will not listen to you if you are going to give them a command. So there is a different way of handling these kind of children. Whereas coming to the owl personality, these kind of children, they have amazing logical and analytical skills. Now, if your child belongs in this category, then we are able to suggest how should you go about talking, what kind of environment can you give them, what kind of hobbies they need to be put into, to hone up their already present strengths, what kind of career options are suitable for such kind of children. Coming to the peacock personality, these children you must have seen in your environment that there are some children who thrive on appreciation. The more you appreciate them, the more forward they go. It's not excessive. That is the food for their soul. This is how they are wired. This is how they are built. If you appreciate them, you will see them going way beyond their own capacities. Vice versa is also applicable. Now, if you know that your child belongs in the category of peacock, then you will know how to parent the child accordingly and also give that kind of environmental setup for that child. Now, coming to the next one, which is dove. Now, dove is a person who are relationship oriented. They love peace. The minute you give them some kind of a discomforting environment, they get disturbed and they leave the environment. Now, if your child belongs in this category, you will need to understand that, okay, my child is people oriented, so definitely you need to be aware of the company that the child is keeping. This is very important, especially when you are parenting a teenager. Then, if the child has this personality that they get uncomfortable in a environment, so how do you make them understand? And not every time you will have a comfortable environment when you are going forward in college or at workplace. So, what remedial measures can be taken to develop this personality further beyond their own is what we help with the help of the report. Going forward, when we come to know these personalities, whatever your child belongs to, we also tell what are the measures that you can take. Now here, if I'm saying measures, this report, in this session itself, in the middle of the session, I am mentioning that the report is always discussed with both the parents, because parenting is done by both, or I would extend a little further and say by the caregivers. Because if they know how to communicate what are the child's learning styles, then moving ahead it becomes much more easier for them. And how does it benefit? Ask me and I can go on raving about it. Because if somebody and the child feels, okay, my parent is able to understand my language, imagine the kind of harmony that you will have in your relationship with your child. Now here, this test, that is the DMIT test, it is not only restricted to the children. This test can even be done for parents as such or individuals also. Now, how does it help there? Now, if you understand that, okay, this is my personality and that is my husband's personality. So here, what happens when you are able to understand each other's personality? The conflict becomes less. Now, I'll give you a example here itself with this slide. If a person is eagle personality, for example, the husband is eagle personality and The wife is dove personality. Imagine one person is strong-headed, focused, goals, you know, nothing comes in between. And the wife is a people-oriented person, wanting harmony everywhere, accommodative. So these people, when they have to decide to go out, there will be a kind of a conflict wherein, the wife would be happy to move. The husband would be like, my work, my goals are important. Now, if you are aware that, okay, my spouse belongs to this category, then the relationship gets better. And by the couple compatibility and counseling, we make it even better by giving them certain guidelines. This can also be used in premarital, when, even before heading into uh, the marriage. If this is done, the kind of understanding that is developed, it helps amazingly well to forge ahead into a, sacred relationship of marriage. Moving ahead, this can also be done for individual to understand your own self better. Now, sometimes you must be, feeling that, why am I like that? The other person is doing so well in careers, moving ahead so effortlessly, whereas I'm putting in so much efforts. What is going wrong? What is it that I can do to change myself? So all these questions that come up in our mind can be sorted out with the help of this test as well. Yeah, please move ahead. Let's move ahead. Okay, this is what I was talking about, and this is in the slide. We come to know of the child's personality. We come to know about the strengths and the limitations. Now, based upon the top four strengths that we come to know, we suggest the career options a child can, pursue. In the test, it's a 40-page report wherein we will, during over the last pages, the career options are numbered and given up to 1 to 15. Now, top 3 or 4 is what we suggest the child can go into for their career options as well. For example, a child whose logic has come good, I mean, not only one, we take into account the other top 3 strengths, and we can suggest that the child can probably go in for a chartered accountancy course or something which requires more logic. Now, here I would like to also add that if the child wants to do something which is not the strength, definitely we offer the remedial measures which the child can take. Definitely the efforts that are going to be put in are going to be much more, but at least the child will be able to do. Now, if you choose your career according to your strength, what is the benefit? The benefit here is that when it is your strength, you need less time to do the same work. Now, if you are taking less time to do the same work, the level of stress is extremely low. You are enjoying your work, you're doing it effortlessly, and when you head back home, your stress levels are going to be extremely low. Definitely, some kind of level of stress is there in today's modern world that we are living in, but that level of stress will be low, and hence it will benefit you in your relationships as well. And for example, your child, you understood your child's personality and you move accordingly. The remedial measures, what we suggest, you follow them. I mean, I have done it myself with my own children. I have seen the benefits are amazing. The kind of relationship that I share with my own teenagers is at a different level. Just by understanding what is their personality, what is my own personality, the way I need to communicate with them, the study methods that they can use, moving ahead with their career when that time comes to decide about that, it's helped a lot. Now, hobbies. Again, I'll come to the example here. In case of hobbies, for example, again, I'll take the logic. When it comes to logic, if you know your child's logic is high, you can put them in a chess class or some puzzles or those kind of activities which will further hone their skills. Or if it is if the child is in higher grades like 9th, 10th, 11th, you can suggest some kind of model United Nation kind of moon classes which are extremely beneficial for the child to further hone their skill and go up. So you are actually moving with the strength of the child. Now we do offer the remedial measures. Here I'll take an example. If the parents, both parents, suppose are CAs, chartered accountants, and they want that our child should, follow the same footsteps, wherein the child's logic is not, so high or the other parameters, we suggest remedial measures. First thing we suggest is let the child move according to his her own strength, and if not, then we suggest the remedial measures which the child can take to move forward in that direction. I mentioned to you about the career options, or I mentioned to you about the relationship. Now this is very important. And why is it important? Because uh, moving in today's times, we are hardly 3 or 4 members in the house. 2 adults, 1 or 2 children. Now, relationship plays a very important role. How the parents make themselves aware what new tools and techniques they can learn in their parenting journey. I am a strong believer that uh, the old parenting techniques, probably what we have got through our parents or the family, is extremely important. What we can add to the kitty and take forward in our parenting journey is what will make us smart parents. So if we get these tools, we move ahead, we are able to help our child in a better way. What more can any parent ask for? I'm sure you'll agree on this. Do you? Can I have some replies in the chat box? Yeah, that's right. I'm 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 thankful. Thank you. Okay. Not only do you get to understand all these things, we also understand what is the EQ, IQ, AQ, and SQ. Now, what do you mean by all this, and how is it important for you? Um, EQ is emotional quotient. As we are seeing today, the children are uh, engrossed in the virtual world more. So when they come out to interact in the real world, the emotions are missing. They are not able to accommodate well, or they don't even know how to interact, how to, they sometimes come and ask, what do I have to talk? How do I go ahead? Such questions which were unheard of, in our times. But these children who are mostly in the virtual world, they are finding it difficult, to understand the emotions, to understand how they are, how should they navigate through the conflicts, how can they maintain their relationships, how they can grow their relationship, probably be it in the family or be it in the friend circle. So here again, we advise the parents upon the numbers that we get. Again, I'll give you examples here. I just love giving examples because that brings about so much of clarity. If suppose the emotion quotient of a child is high and the child does not get to vent out her own feelings, it will be a catastrophe in the child's life going ahead, because When you are not able to speak out, you get stifled inside, you get suffocated inside. And then what happens is, moving ahead, when the situation is not conducive, you literally burst out like a volcano. And that may not be the right thing to do, anywhere, be it at your workplace or be it in your personal life. So here, if the report says that a child's EQ is high, then we suggest remedial measures to the parents in the family or outside family, because the most important people the child speaks to is the parents. Okay, but moving ahead, as we grow older, teenage or early adulthood, we reduce our interactions, and then we also start thinking that I don't want to bother my parents with this. I'll handle it myself. But then that doesn't happen. So that emotional drainage does not happen, and then not only as I mentioned, you can burst out like a volcano. Sometimes people even don't do that, and when you keep on stifling with emotions, uh, that is when you start getting the diseases. That is when it becomes over the years your body has taken the brunt of penting up the emotions, that one fine day it breaks down, and then you start having BP and everything, and you wonder, I was not that kind of a person. Where did I get this BP from? And this has been over the years, it has happened. And one fine day, your body, mostly after the age of 40, the diagnosis starts happening. So it's always, if parents are aware that, my child belongs to this category, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to move ahead? It makes things much more easier even after the parents are gone. So you are in a very relaxed state. So this was about EQ. Definitely, when you come to know about IQ, it helps you. Now, social quotient here. Again, I'll come back to the example of the real and the real world. Our social interactions in the real world are reducing. So here, uh, we need to make sure that we move out a lot and expose the child to that kind of an environment, which brings about the required social growth for our child. Also, I'll tell you one more thing. We have these 10 fingers. Out of this, I'm just going to explain you two of the thumb that is there to give you an idea what comes out, um, out of the test. So one of these thumbs represents the intrapersonal, that is the relationship that we have with ourselves. And this left thumb represents the interpersonal skills. Now, if the numbers are very high, again, we need to suggest some kind of remedial measures. If it is optimum, very good. If it is low, then we come to understand that the child's relationship with itself is not very high. So the child will remain in self-doubt. Any decision making going ahead may not be very strong. The child will be dicey. So what is to be done in that case? We suggest remedial measures. For going ahead with another one, that is the interpersonal skills. If we come to know that the child's interpersonal skills are amazing, wow, then we suggest the career options accordingly. If we can suggest the career options probably in sales, marketing, or wherein there is a lot of speaking required. If the child's language is high, we suggest career options accordingly. If they are extremely kinesthetic, now just imagine yourself, if a child is high on kinesthetic and movement, you put that kind of a person into a research job. Seriously, it will be a disaster. That person cannot sit in one place. The person has high interpersonal skills. The person is high on movement. The desk job will totally ruin the child's personality. So, based upon all these 10 strengths that we get in the report, the 10 numbers, not the strengths. Strengths will be the top four that we pick up. We explain what are the, career options that the child can go for. And let me tell you one thing here. Um, this test can be done as early as after 3 years. Now, what is the advantage of doing it, at the age of 3, 4, 5, like that? Is that with the help of the person who has done the test, who is giving you the consultation, you are able to set a roadmap for your child. When you have that roadmap with you, coming back and forth with the guidance of the coach, you are, making informed decisions in the life of your child. So, just you can visualize that if you're doing the parenting according to the learning styles, if you're moving ahead with the strengths of the child, you know what are the remedial measures for the limitations. How you're supposed to handle your child better, the kind of words that you need to speak, the kind of relationship you need to develop, the kind of harmony that will be there in the house will be amazing. It will be at just another level which parents these days are longing for. They tell that we have a kind of a disconnect now. With this awareness, with these tools, uh, you are much better equipped moving ahead in your parenting journey. Okay. As I mentioned to you, this test, that is the DMIT test, you have better relationship management, improved parenting skills, couple compatibility. Now, how does it help in, as I mentioned you, couple compatibility, but I like to add one point here, that if both the parents do the test and the child does it, the parent also knows, father knows his personality, the child's personality. So whatever measures need to be taken can be taken right from the beginning. The father will also understand, okay, this is how I am wired, this is how my child is, this is how I am supposed to communicate. Again, this helps in bettering your relationship. Similarly, in case of the mother, for example, if the mother is a person who is high on emotions, whereas the child is not, so there is a gap. Now, when she is aware that this is the language that I need to speak, I request whoever is unmuted, please mute yourself. Thank you very much. So if the mother knows that I am high on emotions and my child is not, what is the method of communication that you can use? First is the acceptance that comes in, and then there is the method of communication that we suggest in cases. So again, this helps you understand yourself better and how you can do the parenting better. I told you how you can understand yourself with the help of this report, and also the midlife crisis, wherein we sometimes feel stuck in a situation we seriously are not able to understand why this is happening. Where am I going wrong? In this case, also, this report helps you to understand better. So this is my offer to you here is, if you register for this test, which, it takes, let me explain you the process. With the help of the app, we take the fingerprints, and within a week, the report is generated and we sit down. The consultation takes around 1 to 1.5 hours. If the child is small, then I do not involve the child. If the child is above the age of 10 years, then I do have the entire session with the child, and around 15 to 20 minutes, I keep separately talking to both the parents about how they can go ahead in their parenting journey, what do's and don'ts, what they need to take care of. So this is the entire process, and also a follow-up, which here today I'm giving at a discount. It'll be free follow-up of 1 hour if you take that DMIT test. So This is it from my side. Thank you for your patience and listening.